Hi, welcome to Essential Living with Pilar. I am Pilar and welcome to the show. If you've never watched Essential Living with Pilar before, this is a show about all things holistic, all things that are friendly to the planet, encouraging and inspiring evolution, higher consciousness, healthier living, living with more awareness, making better choices, all that type of stuff. We always cover a different aspect of our potential to do better. And so, welcome. Spring has sprung. This is that time of year. And so I wanted to touch upon a couple of things related to what's happening in the nature kingdom, which is, this is a time when everything starts to blossom, vegetation wakes up, all of nature is awakened out of the deep sleep of winter, and life goes from being dormant to sprouting forth a new crop, a new blossoming, all things anew. So I was thinking you don't often pay attention to these cycles as far as how they all interrelate, and it's also a time when there are certain holidays, traditional holidays that really all symbolize new beginnings, a resurrection, a renaissance, a new way of life, new life. All of those things are symbolized by the time. And I'm sure that's why these holidays started being held around this time of year, because it goes with that cycle. Now, the interesting part, and I wanted to just bring that to your attention, this particular year, there's a lot of auspicious forward movement and new energy springing forth. And so that is being reflected also not only here on the planet, globally, personally, naturally, but also in the cosmos. There's a lot of activity that if you look at it and then you plop it over our lives or our own individual lives in the world, it is a perfect segue. It's like riding the wave of the cycle just in perfect synchronicity. And I'm not an astrologer by any stretch of the imagination, but there are a couple of really well-versed practitioners of this science that I do admire and pay attention to. So they brought up a couple of points that I want to share with you, just so you understand and take advantage of this time even more consciously and with more awareness right now, because it's sort of like a ship that's sailing, not that you have to get on it, but if you want to go from point A to point B, it would be good to ride that wave and just go with that flow. And there's a lot of flow right now that is very coherent. So I wanted to share that with you. For one thing, right now, we are in the beginning of the astrological year. So we just entered the sign of Aries, which is the first sign of the zodiac. That sign signifies a birth. It's like the child of the zodiac. So that can obviously be interpreted as the beginning of all life sprouting forth, but also new projects, things we started planning at the beginning of the year. How is that going? What have we already dropped off by the wayside? But what are we really looking to plant? For those that garden, that applies to what you're putting into the ground. But for those of us that are also starting on new projects and want to make some progress and reap a fruitful harvest at the end of this particular year, now is the time to reassess that. So being the month of of the zodiac sign of Aries, and being that the beginning, the other thing that's happening that's interesting is the planet Mercury is in retrograde in the sign of Aries. Mercury is communication. And when it goes retrograde on a sign, regardless of what sign it's going retrograde on, is reviewing, reassessing, doing things all over again. It's a good chance to correct mistakes. It's a good chance to check your list and check it twice to make sure that this is the path you want to embark upon, or you can make adjustments. So this is a good time to take advantage of that while this is happening. The other major thing that's happening cosmically is that the planet Jupiter, who is the guru of the zodiac, the planet of expansion, the planet of wisdom, the planet of spiritual evolution, understanding, learning on every level, is in the sign of Scorpio. The sign of Scorpio is a sign that is very, very oriented toward deep introspection. Also, it's got a lot of passion and drive and focus. And it also has to do with investments. What are you investing yourself into? Because Scorpio goes all in. So investments could be your money. Investments could be how you invest your energy, your focus, your time, your energy, your money. What are you invested in? What kind of relationships are you in? Are they serving you? Do you need to weed out your relationship garden and replant new seeds? I think that's happening a lot globally. The other thing that's happening is the planet Saturn has recently come into its own sign of Capricorn, and that is structure, infrastructure, order, and being in its own sign is restructuring everything. It's tearing down the old and building the new. So as you can see how that can apply to you, you can see it happening in the world if you're paying attention to what's happening in the world near you or around you or in any part of the world. All the old structures are breaking down, and it appears that it's getting ugly. And it does for a while you're breaking down the old to rebuild and rebirth the new. It's a good thing, even though. So the point is, don't invest. My suggestion would be not to invest your attention and your energy on, oh, this is awful, but look forward to what is going to come out of it as a result. Because while all the ugly is getting pushed out to the middle of the street, just like as if you were cleaning out your dirty garage or your dirty house to remodel it or whatnot, it's got to get worse before it gets better. So I think this is bringing forth a lot of new passion, a lot of light, a lot of understanding, because as we look around, we see what we are so tired of investing into. These investments that have not yielded the results that we want, be it maybe career, maybe I think everybody's suffering or enduring through a personal restructuring, relationships, things that are, relationships that are not serving you. They're not renewing you. They're not fulfilling you. They need to be, you need to get rid of them. One way or another. Just start little by little investing less of your energy into crops that don't grow corn, as it were. So this is a perfect time, and do take advantage of it, to really go and review what's happening with you so you can start. Don't delay it and judge yourself, but do go over what's been happening and see where you can readjust, regroup, and see where you want to go from here. Don't let it go too long, but now is the time to say, okay, well, You stay, you go, you stay, you go, you stay, you go. Also, how you manage your finances. Are you paying attention to that? Do you know how to do it? Are you spending money on things that are worthwhile? Are you giving money to companies that are against your values? It's all that kind of stuff. So it's really paying attention and really putting your life, your momentum into what is in alignment with your soul and your spirit and what you consider to be your life purpose and your desires of what you want to create. And the recommendation is to really go with this flow, because there is so much assistance energetically to help you move through this time of redoing your life and create yourself. Also, the planet Uranus is sort of like the stick of dynamite of the zodiac, and it comes in and forces you to clean up and bring out what's true. So it has been in the sign of Aries for several years. It's almost about to leave. But that's why all of this has been happening, because everybody is being called upon, I don't want to say forced, to be true to their self. You have to see, what is it that you are here for? It has been on the sign of Aries for all these years, revamping our heart's desire. Who are we really? Are we showing up authentically in the world and in our lives and in our relationships? Or are we hiding things under the carpet? Are we putting on a facade that we felt or we were taught that was necessary in order to be acceptable? This is the time that we're throwing all that away, removing all and uninstalling all the old programming, deleting what doesn't serve, and installing the new realistic, true to yourself you, that is going to bring you the joy that you want to experience. Because if we're going to be alive on the planet, we should enjoy it and be ourselves and express ourselves as creatively and authentically as we possibly can. So, I should have mentioned this earlier. For those who have never watched this show, and those who do, I always say keep a little notebook and a pen and paper close to you, because I always give you some suggestions you may want to jot down if what you're listening to, you're finding value in that. So I always make some suggestions that you may want to take on, so you can review and restart and give yourself a reset. Because this is the perfect time to do that before the year moves along further and you get caught up in summertime and those activities that, you may just then end up with another year flying by you. And it's okay, but, it's kind of wasteful, because everything is so auspicious and so supportive of your own development. If you want to start a new project, start it now. Start thinking about what that is. When Mercury gets out of retrograde, be ready to go. You'll have the green light. It is not necessarily suggested that you go into it too quickly, because you want to use this time to review it. You want to make sure that you have your ducks in a row. So see what resources you have to put into what you want to accomplish. And that may mean you may need to pare down your investment of your time, energy, and money, and attention, and your day from things that are just wasting your time. So it's like reallocating what you have for yourself into something that is going to produce some substantial, tangible results that you want to find, that you want to create. So I'm going to give you a little homework. And it's pretty simple. It's basically self-assessment. Take a look at what's going on with you. Take a pen and paper. Make a list of your investments. What are you invested with? What are you invested in? What relationships are you invested in? What are you investing your time, your energy, and your money? Those are your resources that are precious. People think investments of just money, but no, it's your energy. It's your time. Your time is precious. What are you lending your mind to? What are you listening to? What are you letting into your proverbial household? How are you spending that part of you? How are you spending yourself? How are you investing yourself? What attitudes, what thoughts, what feelings? Are you spending most of your time in self-criticism, regret, confusion? It's just really a matter of where you choose to focus. So turn it around and make your list and see how you want to change it and rearrange the players on your board for yourself. And, plan your for those of you who garden, and this is the time where you're going to be gardening, it's the same thing. Your life is your garden. So what do you want to plant new? Maybe start a new crop that you've never tried before, that you've always wanted to. Just be willing to show up differently for yourself primarily, because it's really all about you. This time of year is like, what do I want? What do I want to do for me? Because it is your responsibility to think of yourself first, always. Because as you take care of yourself first, your cup is full, and then you can pour from your overflow. If you don't take care of yourself and you're busy thinking, you're taking care of everybody else, and your cup is dry, you have nothing. You have nothing to offer the world, and you have nothing for you. And so then that you go down that spiral, that gets you into the same patterns of the past, that produce the same results. So I think that, I think it was Einstein that said, if you keep doing the same things over and over and over the same way, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and over the same way and expecting different results. So I invite you to try everything new that you've been putting on hold. And, well, not everything at once, that may be too much, but tip the scales of doing something you want for you versus doing things that everybody else wants you to do for them. Show up differently. They're not going to die. They'll survive your changing. And those that really can't handle the real you that you're responsible for bringing forth, then they don't need to be in your life. They really don't. It's not doing you any good. It's not doing them any good. They need to be with people that are vibrating at the same level, and you need to make that space to attract what you need. Because if you don't have the room, then nothing's going to come in differently. So, the planets right now, again, I'm not an astrologer, but I know enough to know that this is a time to take advantage of the planetary positions, because the stars do not only incline, they do not compel. So they do provide us with a momentum, and each month we get the opportunity of using that momentum. It's like the cycles of nature. It's nothing mysterious. It's nothing woo-woo. It is a scientifically proven fact that planets have energy and they each affect us differently. I mean, the moon is a perfect example. The moon is the most consistent shift that we feel most regularly because it's on the moon cycles that we feel most closely. But it happens all year round. So now is the time to plant what you want. For a change, give yourself the opportunity to thrive by making room for yourself. Allow yourself the space and give yourself the tools you need, the proper conditions, at least better than you have in the past, and then look forward to enjoying some better results. But, it does require that you're consistent. It does require that you are motivated. It does require that you are focused. The other planet that is happening to that I just thought of, Pluto, the planet Pluto, is also in the sign of Capricorn. So you have these two very powerful planets on the sign of Capricorn. Pluto and its own planet, Saturn. Pluto is the cosmic exfoliator. It gets rid of things that don't work. It gets rid of dead things. It likes to purify. And again, over and over and over. It's been in the sign of Capricorn, which is structure, and means of functioning, your contribution to the planet, to your life, how you show up in the world. It's been in there for several years, I believe since 2008. I think it's got about 13 more years to go. Pluto is a slow mover, but it digs deep. It doesn't let you hide things under the rock. And I think that we have seen this, are seeing this manifesting very clearly, and we will continue to do so. But it is calling you to see, what do you want to do in the world? What is your contribution? So put it all together. The energy is available for you to do it. So if you're paying attention, take advantage of this cosmic wave, especially around this time of year where things are just beginning to sprout and spring forth into the new and real you. And if you're willing to give me some feedback or some comments, if you actually do this, I would love it. My email is essentiallivingwithpilar@gmail.com. Feel free to give me some information. Let me know if you tried it, how it went. Why not? Do it for yourself. You have to. Don't put it off anymore, because things will shift. Now is the time to get on this ride. So get on that cosmic wave and let it take you. Let it take you. Let it propel you. Let it assist you as almost like a conveyor belt. Let it assist you to move forward into what you want to create. It would be foolish not to. So I hope you enjoy this process and take it upon yourself to take up your space in the world right now. Let your voice be heard in a holistic, powerful way, not in a mud wrestling kind of, brawling type of discussion you may get into on Facebook. Don't get embattled, get empowered. And operate from a place of being poised and clear into your own gift, and bring it forth and share it. The world needs you, and it's time for you to bring yourself forth. And on that note, I will let you go on to it. Make your list and check it twice while Mercury's in retrograde. And then get ready to go in a few days. And just do it. And I'll see you next time. And thank you for my family and friends here at Thurston County Media for providing the opportunity to share all this with anybody that needs it. Spring forth.